In the last 24 hours, nearly 400 people tested positive for COVID in Peel region. And as that number continues to rise, residents here will soon have access to an isolation center, a place to go if you can't safely isolate at home. Now, the mayor of Brampton says while he is happy to have it, the funding approval for this had been collecting dust in Ottawa for months, and this should have been a top priority.
Quite often we found we had household spread because of the inability for someone to isolate.
It's a long time coming in the region's battle against COVID-19. The mayors of Mississauga, Brampton and Caledon have been nudging and then publicly calling out the federal government for the cash to create an isolation center ever since Toronto's funding was approved back in September. Should this have happened sooner, especially in a place like Peel region? This region has been a hotspot from the very beginning.
Obviously, I would have loved if this had happened 6 weeks ago, 8 weeks ago, but it is what it is, and at least we're getting it now.
The federal government is now handing over almost $7 million to turn an empty hotel into a place where residents can go to isolate if they can't safely do so at home. Toronto got $13 million from Ottawa to open a centre with 140 beds. Peel regions will likely be half the size.
Isolation centers are incredibly important, and it's a shame that it didn't come earlier.
Brampton resident Jaskaran Sandhu has been very vocal on Twitter about some of the issues surrounding his beloved city. He points to the unique makeup of Brampton. It's home to many multi-generational households with a disproportionate number of essential workers. The city has 11,000 truckers, more than 8,000 residents work in food processing, and a large number of outbreaks are happening in these settings.
I know folks who have booked out rooms at hotels so that they can isolate from the rest of their family in multi-generational homes. People are taking this seriously, and they have been mostly bearing those costs personally. The onus is on you, the government and public health, to make sure the tools are available for communities like Brampton to be able to handle COVID mitigation guidelines as best as possible.
Now, the location of this isolation center is not being disclosed, of course, for privacy reasons, but I am being told it's close to Brampton and will hopefully be up and running as very soon, possibly in a matter of days.